I really hate to do this because he's a super nice guy who I've actually had dinner with in a group, and we have a lot of contacts and friends in common. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Bobby Kennedy Jr., has launched a completely off the rails presidential campaign based on anti-vax, opportunism, and pro-Putin talking points. And it's really, really sad that this is going on. As I've mentioned before on the show, Bobby Kennedy Jr. is sort of like linked to other folks that are in progressive media. And I once had dinner with him in Las Vegas. And he was super nice and engaging, told interesting stories, extraordinarily polite, and just a nice guy to be around. And then the pandemic hit, and what was before sort of a more casual skepticism of vaccines became going fully anti-vax, recently pictured with Michael Flynn, just completely embraced by the most extreme anti-vaccine elements. And earlier this month, Bobby Kennedy filed his candidacy, making him the fourth member of his family to seek the presidency of the United States. He had an event yesterday in Boston in which he, quite frankly, ranted for 90 minutes to the point where even people behind him were starting to become visibly uncomfortable. Here is Bobby Kennedy Jr. praising Donald Trump's instincts not to close the country down during COVID. Take a listen.
President Trump said, well, these bureaucrats came at him from every side, and they were all telling him he had to do it. He had the right instincts. He knew that he shouldn't have closed down the country, but he did it. He got rolled by his bureaucracy. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. During the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, there were a lot of those side stories, which is why this thing ended up lasting an hour and a half. It is important to mention that there is wide reporting that many members of the Kennedy family are supporting Joe Biden over Bobby Kennedy Jr. in the primary. And I guess I should mention Bobby Kennedy Jr. running as a Democrat, although I don't really know at this point sort of like what policies line him up with the Democratic Party. Here is a clip sort of in the middle of this extremely long 90-minute rant. And as you can see, the folks in the background, their expressions have changed pretty dramatically. And it was quite painful, I will say.
I'm in a lawsuit involving Amazon for censoring one of my books. So they were censoring people who criticized the lockdowns while they were raking in the money from the lockdowns.
and it's hard not to laugh because the crowd, he lost the crowd the way Trump loses a crowd, just going on and on. And yes, he talks about he's being censored and now he's going to fight back. What censoring? What on earth is going on here?
This is what happens when you censor somebody for 18 years. I got a lot to talk about. They shouldn't have shut me up that long, because now I'm going to really let loose on them for the next 18 months. They're going to hear a lot from me.
So listen, I support anybody who wants to challenge Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination. Absolutely do it. Here's just a guy who I can't say is a better alternative to me in absolutely any way. He, of course, got the hero's welcome on Tucker Carlson's program last night after this very brave launching of an anti-vax campaign for president. And what he did was he showed up on Tucker Carlson's show and he repeated pro-Putin propaganda about death rates in the invasion of Ukraine by Russia.
Nobody talks about this. There's 14,000 Ukrainian civilians who have died, but 300,000 troops. The Russians are killing Ukrainians at a 7-to-1 to 8-to-1 ratio. They cannot sustain this. What we're being told about this war is just not true.
No, it's not true.
There you go. So finding common ground with the pro-Putin people and with Tucker Carlson. This is a claim based on a fake doctored report of Russian propaganda put out that has been conclusively debunked. And it is still being repeated by Bobby Kennedy Jr. to Tucker Carlson. So essentially an anti-vax pro-Putin campaign, I guess. It is truly sad to see this. Bobby Kennedy Jr., not only a really nice guy, but a long history of powerful work defending the environment, protecting the planet, dealing with climate change, Riverkeeper Alliance, attorney working on these issues. It's genuinely depressing to see what has happened with Bobby Kennedy Jr. And also, I guess now at his rally, his wife, the actress from Curb Your Enthusiasm and other shows, Cheryl Hines, was there and introduced him and seemed to be behind the whole thing. There was quite a bit of drama involving her during the heart of the pandemic, wherein while Bobby Kennedy Jr. was out railing against vaccines, Cheryl required everyone who went to their holiday party to be vaccinated, and sort of it seemed as though maybe she wasn't on board with the entire thing, but apparently now she is. So this is not a candidate I will be supporting. I don't yet know who I will be supporting in the Democratic primary because I don't yet know who all the candidates are going to be. Joe Biden has not even announced that he is running for re-election. So when I know who I will be supporting, I will let you know. The first step would be let's figure out if Joe Biden is actually running for re-election. When you're using websites and apps, your device sends out data about you into the open, who you are, where you go, things you like. That data then gets sold around for advertising purposes, which is why every time I connect to the internet, I use a VPN to hide my IP address. And our sponsor, Private Internet Access, is the most trustworthy VPN on the market. It's the only VPN that has proven multiple times in court they don't log your activity. Private Internet Access protects you from the prying eyes of hackers, your internet service provider, tech companies. Private Internet Access is also super fast for streaming and for downloads. You can watch your favorite streaming platforms as if you're in another country, like the UK, to access cool new content. And with just one account, you can protect unlimited devices all at the same time. This is really a game changer. Private Internet Access is giving my audience 83% off. That's $203 a month plus 4 months free. Go to piavpn.com/Pacman. The link is down below.